Learn how to go from unknown to well known so you can be seen as an expert, establish trust and authority, set yourself apart from your competitors, and get paid more for your expertise. I'm Priya Florence Shah, award winning publisher, author, podcaster, and online branding consultant. In this channel, you learn how to create a personal brand that outlasts the next social media or search engine algorithm update. Sign up for my free personal branding course at blogbrandzin. Today I'm interviewing Charu Dhyani. Charu is the founder and chief creative of Wudbox, a venture aimed at increasing awareness about mindful consumption. She's passionate about doing her bit in saving the planet through small but concrete actions, and she has a lot of respect for proponents of sustainability, eco-friendly living and conscious consumption. And along with her team, she's striving to save the world and make it a better place for everyone. She's also interested in innovation of all forms and loves to find ways of doing something faster or simpler, and also has a huge liking for design. She also loves to travel and makes it a point to see at least 3 new places in a year. Okay, so Charu, I think that sums you up. Yeah.
Hi, Priya.
Yeah, hi. So tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got into Woodbox and how did you start this venture?
So, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, how, my background. Actually, I am from a medical field. I did my graduation and post-graduation in physiotherapy. And I was working in a setup in which I was treating back pain, neck pain patients, and that's how it was going on. Until one day I thought that this dream and passion of mine of doing my bit in sustainability and starting out a business in this has to start today. So that same day I sent in my resignation. And then I thought, yeah, let's start. And that's how my journey began. And honestly, in the starting, I never thought I could go on for this long, and I had no business idea at all how a business would run and what are the things that would go into it. But in the last 3 years, Woodbox has grown a lot, and so have I in this journey.
So
So
you're
it's
finally doing what you're passionate about.
That's right. That's right. I initially started out looking out for eco-friendly and natural products, but then I realized that wow, so much is going on in the world that should not be happening. Started reading out facts and researches, and I found out that a lot of it can be changed if I contribute even a bit every day.
Yeah.
So that's what kept me going, and now it's been 3 years, and wow, I've loved every day of those 3 years.
Oh, that's great. I mean, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it doesn't at all.
So what products does Woodbox make? Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Yeah. So, see, we call Woodbox as a mindful consumption brand, and we are all into helping people to make mindful buying choices, which are good for them. So when they use it, they feel good about it, and it's good for their overall health. And for them, it's also good for the community of the artisans, of the people who make these products, as well as for the nature. So when these products are made, they do minimum or little harm to the planet. When they are discarded or thrown away, they can be easily biodegraded, or they are recycled and utilized again. So with that philosophy, we have various categories of products that include um, clothing which are ethically produced. So we have ethical fashion clothing and jewelry. We have natural and Ayurvedic body care products. We have handcrafted home decor products. We have eco-friendly utility items for your home, like like bamboo toothbrushes or natural soaps or coconut bowls, and yeah, these are some of the things that we have right now. But we keep expanding and keep finding alternatives that we can give to people.
Yeah, that's great because I'm also very passionate about the environment. I used to be an environmental journalist. I used
Wow.
to write for Down to Earth and work with the Center for Science and Environment Delhi. But that was a very, very long time ago, more than 20 years ago. So,
Hmm.
and I also started an environmental portal in 2001 called Making India Green, where I used to talk about environmental issues and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
I went into marketing full time, so but I'm
Hmm.
also very passionate about what you're doing, and I write about environmental, about eco-friendly products on my website
Hmm.
nari.com and another website that I have. And so I was really keen on learning about what you're making, So one thing that I've seen in
Hmm.
the products that we use today, I think, like you said, it's a matter of design. It's a matter of faulty design, right? Because we are
Hmm.
we are designing products for single use and for
That's right.
throwaway disposable
Yeah.
use, and that is a
Yeah.
mindset that needs to change. We need to start designing products that we can reuse, like our old like the old generations used to use. We used to
So
reuse
true.
everything, and we used to repair stuff and all that, and the throwaway culture was never there in the old generation. We were always very frugal about what
Hmm.
we used. But I think it's I mean, in the last few decades, we've become very wasteful when it comes to using the resources on this planet. So, since you're into this field, what are your observations in this regard?
So see, I think numbers speak out really loud. So um, recently, it was documented that around 80 billion garments are thrown away each year, and they produce around 1.3 billion tons of textile waste.
Yeah,
This waste then goes to either the landfills or is simply burnt to save the cost, and
right.
that causes land pollution, water pollution, and ultimately, we live in the same ecosystem.
Of
And
course.
if your land and water is getting polluted and the environment is getting affected, we are not separate from it. I mean,
No. Hmm.
as humans, I think we started feeling entitled to the earth, the planet, and we thought everyone is there to serve us. So we
Yes.
started creating havoc on it. And
Yeah.
as you said that, things like repairing, reusing, recycling, and those things which we were doing were actually helpful and keeping things better. Like, I remember in when I was a child, the air was so fresh, the water was so clean and so pure, and it's not even long back.
No, it
So in
was.
the last
Yeah.
around 20 years or so, or 10 years, I mean, we have done a great damage. And
Yeah.
if we continue to behave like this, and you're so right, that's all about the mindset, it's all about the human behavior. And if we continue to actually consume the way we are consuming, then it's also speculated that our Himalayan glaciers, for example, will just melt by 2035.
Yeah.
And so now is the time that we switch back to how we were living many years ago, not because we don't have the luxury to buy the item, but because we have the luxury to actually choose products which are good for us, and good for our for future generations, and
Yeah,
for
and good for the
kids.
planet. Yeah, good for the planet.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah, yeah.
wildlife. Better. I mean, not harmful to wildlife, at least.
Yeah, if you look at the Australian bushfires that are going on right
I
now,
know. Yeah.
we somehow think that we don't want to spend money on the environmental things because it's not good for the economy. But look at the amount of damage that has happened and the amount of money that is going to again correct those things.
I know.
So,
It turns out to be extremely wasteful. Like when I was learning about environmental issues, I also realized that if we factor in not just the manufacturing costs, we factor in energy costs when it comes to
Hmm.
manufacturing a certain item, then it
Hmm.
actually stuff things made from fossil fuels would be much more expensive than things made
Hmm.
of natural products, right? But we don't factor in those
Yeah.
costs. We don't
Yeah.
factor in
Yeah.
the environmental costs and the energy costs, and you know what, the life cycle costs. The So we don't think of
Yeah.
things in terms of circular economy and all, which are now becoming, buzzwords.
Yeah, it's coming up, but again, I think it needs a lot of more popularity for
Yeah,
it to become a common phenomena in the population.
yeah,
It's there. It's Most of the people also don't understand what it really means.
yeah. They
So
don't understand. Most people don't understand what the
yeah,
circular economy is, and how important it is to actually factor in the cost of the of each and every piece of material that goes into the manufacture of a certain product or item or whatever
yeah,
that you're creating, right?
yeah, yeah.
Which is why you guys are what y'all are creating is really good, because y'all are helping artisans, y'all are helping the community, and y'all are also creating products which are good for the environment, right?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, and also we try to educate people because we understand that as human beings we don't want to intentionally do bad or do ill. I mean, if we are shown a way of actually making a good difference and creating a positive impact, we are actually all up for it. But a lot of time we are ignorant and we don't know.
Yeah.
So I think educating and informing people is also our responsibility in something which is not well known. So
Yes,
we
that's
try to
true.
do in that bit as well, how much ever we are doing right now, but we will continue to do the same thing.
Right. Okay, great. So, what have you been doing in terms of branding when it comes to your company and when it comes to your own, your personal branding and stuff like that? I would love to know that.
So I think before I started Woodbox, I was a very private person. I mean, I had a few friends, and I never went out of that circle. And I never thought, it's required to actually go out and be known. But when I started Woodbox, I was forced out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
and I was made to realize by well wishers and people that you have to ensure that what you create reaches out to people.
Yes. Yes,
So
that's true.
that's when I started exploring social media. I started seeing Facebook from a different perspective. I realized that Instagram is something which is coming up as a very strong tool for your for branding of your brand, but also for your personal branding. I mean, what kind of things you put out on those social media channels is extremely important, because even if people are not commenting or saying anything to you, but they're definitely looking at you.
Hmm.
And whatever you are putting out speaks a little bit about yourself.
Hmm.
So then I became conscious of what I'm putting out, and it should be the kind of thing that I really want people to see. So I became conscious. I think that's the first thing.
Yeah.
And second, I started becoming a little bit more vocal about the kind of things I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
initially it used to feel that it's boasting, or boosting, I mean boasting or talking about yourself. But then I realized that whatever good things you are doing, there's no harm in telling about that to the people, as long as you're being truthful and
Yeah.
not stating the wrong facts.
Yeah.
So these are probably the two things that I stick to these even right now, and I'm becoming more aware. LinkedIn, for example, is uh, is catching up, and I've realized that LinkedIn is also a great tool. So yes, Facebook is there, but for personal branding, I think LinkedIn works really well.
Yeah, even so do I. I think LinkedIn is actually going to be much bigger in 2020. It's going to be much easier to promote on LinkedIn, and organic reach is going to go up on LinkedIn. So I think it's going to become very important in this year at least. So let's see how that goes because social media keeps changing. So it's kind of hard to,
It does.
yeah. So it's kind of
Yeah,
hard
it
to
does.
predict what is going to happen really. But
Yeah.
yeah, LinkedIn and Instagram is not. I'm not very active on Instagram because it's all about photos and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
what you're doing. And if you're traveling and you're doing stuff and all, then it's fine to share, images. But it's very
Yeah.
image heavy. So I very
Image oriented.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't share much on Instagram, but I share a lot on LinkedIn because I'm a writer. So as a writer, you can share a lot more context and content and stuff like that on LinkedIn.
Yes,
That way,
I actually thought of also being there on Instagram because we target a group which is younger population, like, someone in 18, 20-year old to 35, 40-year old. And those people started moving from Facebook to Instagram.
yes,
So it was something that we had to do because the entire people whom we want to target are going over there. So we
yes.
left with no choice.
Yeah, no, and of course you're selling products, right? So products do
That's
very
right.
well.
Yeah.
Products do very well on Instagram because Instagram is a great showcase for products, for product images and things like that. You can, if you can showcase your images well on Instagram, they'll do really well. You can actually sell stuff on Instagram. It's becoming more friendly towards sellers, towards people who are into e-commerce. I guess you all have an e-commerce store
Yes,
also,
yes, yes.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's right.
so it's Instagram is pretty good for people who are into e-commerce. Actually, it's becoming better. Earlier it wasn't the case, but it's becoming more friendly towards sellers. And I
Hmm.
think, do you also use Pinterest? Pinterest is also very important for sellers.
Yes, for the brand we
Yeah,
do use
yeah,
Pinterest.
yeah. I mean, for the
I'm
brand, of
how
course, yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah, for the
Pinterest
brand.
is mostly for your content and for your brand content.
Yeah,
But it's Pinterest is very important if you have an e-commerce store. So
yeah, yeah,
and they do really well. Product images and stuff they do really
yeah.
well on Pinterest. So I guess how are you all doing with that?
Yeah, so I think Pinterest, we were right from the start, and it has been a helpful tool throughout. And the audience is growing on Pinterest at a faster rate than on any other platform
Yeah,
for
that's
the
true.
kind of things that we do.
Yeah,
So I think Pinterest is a great option, as you said, for like an e-commerce. If you are an e-commerce, then you should be on
on
Pinterest.
Pinterest, definitely.
Yeah,
Especially if your audience is young and female, definitely
yeah,
because
that's right.
yeah, there are mostly women on
Yeah,
Pinterest. So I mean, and they actually buy stuff. So people actually click
yeah,
on those images and go and buy stuff. So, for e-commerce, it's really important. So,
yeah.
I mean, so what are your plans for growing your brand, growing the brand, growing your own brand as well when it comes to this? I mean, in the coming year.
Yeah. So actually, since the past year, that's 2019, I actually realized that yes, your brand is one thing, but your personal brand is something that you cannot ignore growing. And I personally started focusing on my personal brand um, just this year, and I intentionally started applying to different kind of things that are coming for startups or for mentoring sessions or for incubations, and if there were any opportunities that came up as to go for a speaker or to go for a session or any other networking event, then I actually did the maximum that I could this year, and that's my intent actually in the coming year, 2020. We are now wanting to be in an incubation system, and that also involves a lot of personal interviews because
Right.
that relies upon the founder or the leader, and they judge the brand actually by the person who is managing it.
Yeah.
So also I'm taking personal coaching so that I can become a better brand, how to actually work on my branding. So 2020 is actually going to be when I want to go all out and promote myself, and through through my promotion, I want to, of course, promote Woodbox and try to show people, that collectively what is it that we are trying to do and how we are trying to make a positive impact on things around us.
Right, right. Well, that's it's very interesting to hear that that you're doing the personal coaching stuff. So, I mean, what kind of coaching do you think is required when it comes to building a brand? What have you found
So,
that is helping you?
so I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to be in a shell because especially when you're starting out, there is so much to do, like on ground work, that it's very easy to get absorbed in that and to stay in your cocoon and not come out of it.
Right,
And a lot of time we don't get to see the outside world or a perspective which is like a bird's eye view or third person's perspective.
right,
And if you take a coaching or if you have a mentor, it helps also to show how things look like from another person's point of view.
absolutely.
Or it helps to show, if you want to grow your brand, then what are the kind of things that you should be doing.
Right,
Or sometimes you get confused whether I should be into my work, or should I try to um, work on my personal branding. So there are many things that I learned out of that entire coaching session. I never thought it could be as impactful. But then, I mean, I would suggest that everyone should actually go for, especially every entrepreneur should go for some kind of a personal coaching.
yeah, I think personal coaching is very important. I did some business coaching in early in my, in my career, quite a few years ago. There was a lady who was doing business coaching, Pune. She's moved, but I think it's
Hmm.
very important to have a mentor,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
show you a side of your business that you can't see, because
Yeah.
we have blinkers on,
Yeah.
and we can't see more than we often don't even know what we should be looking at
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's very important. Mentoring is really important, I think, and that's a very good point you made, because I think that's it's so
It could be alone as well, because if
yeah,
you are running your business, then no one else really understands it from your perspective.
yeah,
And whom do you talk to? You can't really talk to your team members because they are not in that place, and it's unfair for us to expect them to understand those things that we are going through. So there's a
right.
lot of mental challenges and things that going on in your mind. So business coaching, personal coaching, they are extremely helpful, is what I've learned in 2019, and would recommend
So can
everyone.
you share some things you've learned from that? I mean, from your from the coaching that you've taken, just a few tips that people can
Yeah.
absorb.
So I think first thing that it comes to my mind is that a lot of things are our self-limiting beliefs.
Right.
We set our own goals and then we self-sabotage it,
Yeah.
thinking that it's not possible because of XYZ factors that have happened either in the past, or it's a strong belief that I have or that we have about us, or our surroundings.
Right. Right.
But then finding out and actually pointing out that this is my self-limiting belief is not an easy thing to do by yourself,
Yes. Yes.
because you are so self-absorbed in your own thinking process that you don't know where this is stemming from.
Yes.
So I think finding out your self-limiting beliefs is an important thing. Also, setting goals, how much ever it is boring, tiring, and in a way exhausting, because you have to really think about the future, months or years, and then set it. But they are extremely important because these are the things that are going to guide you.
Yeah. That's right.
These are the things that will help you get up every morning and get to work with same amount of passion and enthusiasm.
Right.
um, Also, I think it should be a journey to grow yourself. Personal
Mm.
growth,
Right.
personal mastery is something that cannot be ignored, even if there is no
Absolutely.
time in the entire day. But if you're not investing time in yourself for your personal growth, um, then I think there's something major that we are missing out.
Can we? Yeah. So you're saying uh,
So
that you
yes,
need
so
to
I
work
was
on yourself.
saying,
Yeah.
on your personal growth, and it cannot be compromised and it cannot be ignored. So these are the three things that I think I have really learned in this year with the entire coaching, business coaching, and I want to stick to them in the coming year as well.
Yeah, so I think
That's how
this
my
is this
2020 is
is
going to start.
that's a very nice, that's a very important message, because a lot of us don't, a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize that your mindset matters a lot. Yeah, and your personal development matters a lot to your business. Like my mentors taught me, I learned this nice little quote from them: your business can only grow to the extent that you do. So
Hmm.
I learned that from my mentors, and I keep repeating it to myself and to anyone who wants to listen. But I really feel that that's very important, and many of us overlook that, overlook our personal
Yeah.
development, we overlook the fact that we are often our biggest obstacle, right?
Oh,
When it
that's
comes
so
to
true.
yeah, when it comes to growing a business,
Yeah.
when someone asks, what is the biggest obstacle in your business, I say me. I'm the biggest obstacle.
But that's such a profound thing, or it's such a it's as good as being enlightened if you understand that you
Yeah.
are your own biggest obstacle.
That's true. Yeah. So that is something that we all have to realize, and it's a great thing that you took the effort, to work on that, to work on yourself, because I think that's going to show up in spades when you're growing your business now this year.
Yes, I think that this is going to be helpful in my personal branding. This is all part of my personal branding. How do I help myself become better, and how do I
Right.
look better, sound better in front of someone I speak to, because that
Yeah.
also is related to my brand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
So
that's going to make a lot of a much better impression when you go, for funding, or when you go to talk to investors or anyone else that you're selling your
yeah,
products to, or you're partnering with.
yeah.
It makes a big difference to how you
And
come
it's so
across.
fulfilling. Yeah,
Sorry.
and I said it's so fulfilling. It gives you happiness, your own happiness, and you don't seek external things for your validation, and it's just like a nice feeling doing this, all of this. So I did it with
Absolutely.
that intent that I should be, this gives me happiness. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah. So I wish you a lot of success this year, and I'm sure whatever investment you have put into yourself and your personal brand is going to pay off in a big way in this year. So we'll wrap
Thank
that
you.
up right now. Yeah,
Thank you
and
so much,
thank
Priya.
thank
It
you.
it was a pleasure, talking to you, and I find this is an extremely great opportunity that I get to, talk to you, and it's a great work that you are doing, and the kind of efforts that you are putting is, I don't know, that also needs like a standing ovation of sorts, and
No, thank no,
because
no.
it requires a lot of passion and commitment to actually do something at this hour of the day. And trust me, I know this because there are a lot of people who just say, okay, it is this time, and I can't come, or I can't do this because of the time. And
Yeah, right.
amazing, hats off to you.
I
Hats
do
off.
I do face some resistance when I tell people the time that they have to commit, connect with me. But no, most people are willing to do it because it's just like half an hour, so they usually are
Yeah.
willing to take that out of the day. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
thanks a lot for connecting,
Thank you so
Charu.
much, Priya.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to my channel and sign up for my free personal branding course at blogbrands.in. Download my free Creating Brand New ebook on Amazon Kindle.